Nope, stop the intro because this is swing number 3 in BuzzBee's court in the Adventure Force line for making a blaster that might actually do what it says on the box. For those of you joining us for this arc in this exclusive BuzzBee anime, I have reviewed 2 of the BuzzBee blasters, both of which really sucked. Now sure, if you have absolutely no standards and love burning your money in a fire pit, well, the BuzzBee blasters in the Adventure Force line have been great for you. And of course, there are people out there that are trying to give BuzzBee the benefit of the doubt and everything like that, trying to say, you got a lemon once or twice, it's not a big deal. Well, here's number 3. 3 strikes and you're out. This is the Triggerfire, a blaster that I'm actually excited for because I've been training religiously to use this thing since I was like 10 years old. You actually fire it by squeezing the grip. There's no other way to prime it. You literally fire it by pulling this grip that acts like the trigger, which means you can use it one-handed, and it has a 30-round freaking drum. Look at how rad this thing is. To shoot a dart, pull trigger to charge blaster and shoot dart. That is great English. Charge and blast trigger, 30 dart drum, handle grip, detachable scope. That's actually kind of freaking weird, yo. And a rail, it's under the detachable scope, you can't really see it. Shoots up to 80 feet, we'll frickin' see about that. And it's rapid fire pull trigger to charge and blast. 30 dart jump capacity, 33 pieces total. Oh my god, this better be okay. Taka, tara, pata, tato, ba, tato, ba, tato, ba. And the drum seems removable. Oh my god, it's actually got a piece of plastic in the lens. Can you see that? Can I reflect it? Yeah. No, that's like a lost art. Most of these scopes don't have that anymore, and I'm not exactly sure why. Do you actually like the scope without the pieces of plastic in it? Let me know down in the comments section. And hey, while you're down there, hit like, get subscribed, because we got a lot more blasters coming. And no, seriously, hit subscribe. You're gonna see some really cool stuff coming up. And of course, the ever lovable BuzzBee long distance dart, quite possibly the worst dart ever. That's a grip. Honestly, not that uncomfortable though. It is a bit thin, and I thought that would be a problem with this blaster. This jokingly called foregrip thing isn't really contoured to your hand, so it's not exactly a grip. It looks like this little thing is the pin. We're just kind of sounds pretty beefy. Put our that's a BuzzBee rail. Let's put our scope on there because I'm sure of all the blasters we reviewed, this is the one that's gonna need a scope on it, you know, with no stock. Man, this is literally the first dart I picked out of the bunch. Isn't that beautiful? Oh man. This is honestly the blaster that will most likely not work the best, so if this one works the best, I'm gonna be kind of upset. I mean, it's not great, but they actually fly. They actually hit the other side of the wall. They're actually going through the air. We might have got one that doesn't suck. Honestly, I kind of feel like I should have bought 2 of them, but this thing was 20 bucks by itself, which again is a pretty pricey point for a blaster like this. This is the same price as the Adventure Force Villainator, which is one of the best blasters you could possibly buy. I can't say that enough, but honestly, doesn't look too bad. 30 dart capacity. You can actually remove the drum and not have that like snap in there correctly. And it appears to work. The trigger pull isn't that bad, but again, I've had a lot of practice. Well, let's take it over to the Chronograph, take it outside, and see exactly what this thing is doing. Out of all of the BuzzBee blasters I've reviewed so far, this is the one that I expected to hit the least, and yet it's the one that practically hits the most. 60, mid-60, not a bad FPS range for, I guess, what it is. The problem I have is that there's no way this will ever hit 80 feet, even with a very good wind. Assuming the dart goes straight with a hefty angle, you pretty much need something around 80, 90, 100 FPS to hit 80 feet reliably with a good angle. That's just lying, BuzzBee. All right, we have the Triggerfire, we have the range. I don't think the Triggerfire has the range, but you'll see. Oof. Giving it a little bit of an angle. Oh, that was a pretty decent shot. Just want to point out, those are the best shots, and that's about 50 feet with a slight angle. So, not unusable, but definitely not 80 feet, and definitely the conflicting results. Okay. I don't want to hate the Triggerfire, but there's some problems. Some big problems, and no, I do not recommend you buy this blaster. This thing, on the back of the box, says it's going to hit up to 80 feet. A lot of the time, yeah, that's bogus, but that hasn't always been the case, especially with BuzzBee, where their blasters typically hit anywhere from 80 to 90 FPS, which on a good day could probably maybe hit that with a decent angle. You'd want more like 100 FPS to hit like 80 feet, but yeah, you could kind of see that, except for this is like 60, 65 FPS, sometimes sub 50. And that is not going to hit 80 feet. And I think that's just disappointing because I was super excited for the Triggerfire and it let me down on that aspect. But of course, the quality, not great. The design is okay, but the problem I have is this is not comfortable. And this is definitely not comfortable. One-handing this thing for me is almost torture. It just doesn't really work good, and that's a shame for a blaster. I'd love to cut the front of this right off and use it as kind of like some kind of drum dual wielding semi-auto kind of pistol thing. So again, no, I don't really recommend you ever pick up the Triggerfire. I honestly don't, but of all of the blasters I've reviewed from BuzzBee, this one is the one that gets the most, yeah, maybe, because it definitely has its audience, a very small one, and it definitely has some fun to be had. I think you would possibly enjoy the Triggerfire. I just don't really see a great spot for the Triggerfire in my arsenal. Maybe there's some modification potential for the Triggerfire, but I can't really base that on this review. For $20, it's such a hard letdown for me. Like the rest of BuzzBee's blasters, it's fine if your blaster doesn't hit 80 feet. Had you just not had a range claim on the box, I probably would have been a little bit happier, but you set me up for that fall when I saw it leaked on Walmart's website with that 80-foot range claim, and it doesn't hit anywhere near that. It never will. This is a company that has fallen so far from grace. I'm happy they're exploring and trying new things, but I feel like they needed another year or so in the oven for this kind of stuff to be absolutely phenomenal. And I'm a grown man. I mean, for a kid, this grip might not be usable at all, I feel. It's pretty stout, all things considered. Again, one-handing this thing is a pain. It might be because it's really front-heavy, but it's not great. Go to the bathroom, wash your face off. Dinner's almost ready, but that's all I've got for you. I'm Walcom S7. Chances are if you got all the way to this far in the video, you like what I do, so please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and of course, leave a comment down below of what you think about the Triggerfire. Did I get it all wrong, or are you not really that excited for it anymore? And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one. You gotta